Royce's Rant.
Honey, you sitting here talking about her and you just sat here and told me your man hit on you. Listen to me. Abuse is abuse.
That's right.
And it don't never change till you change it.
Mm-hmm.
Hear me with your heart, not just your ears. Whether you're trying to buy love or whether you're letting somebody put their hand on you.
Yes.
That's abuse, honey.
Right.
Because you will leave that man, go find another one, and that one will hit you too. Because it's something in you that's attracted to them kind of men.
Yes.
That's crazy. I don't understand that.
That's right.
You gonna let somebody put their hand on? I don't understand that. Explain that to me, honey. Life is short. You can be dead and gone tomorrow.
Yes. Yes.
Yo, what up, everybody? It's your boy Royce the Voice, Orange Click, Orange Leaders. How y'all doing today? How was y'all's holiday? Happy New Year. It's twanky. It's 2020, man. And hey, we're just gonna get straight to it because, man, this is something that's been on my mind for a pretty long time. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure we've all been through it in some kind of case, and I can't wait for for you guys to call in too, and so you can hear some of your input on some things. But what we're going to be talking about is good people in toxic relationships. Now, man, this can be like a touchy subject, but I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I've been in a situation like that myself. I've been on both sides of the fence, but we'll get to that, like a little bit later. But I definitely want to hear from the men and the women um, on these particular this particular situation. Now, let me say this. I know, before I was got serious into a relationship, I would always say, I would have friends, I would have family members, and that would be in that situation, and I would be like, man, why don't y'all just leave? Why don't you just leave? It seems easy. That's all you got to do. Just leave. It can't be hard. Weren't you raised better? What's wrong with you? I completely had no idea, and didn't understand, what made women or men, stay in toxic relationships. So, man, as I got older, and got into different relationships, um, and I really began to love someone, you know what I'm saying, and to be in love with someone, I started to understand what people were talking about. And here's what I'm saying by this, and this is just just from my observation, just through my experience. You know, when you love someone, there's a difference between loving someone and being in love. All right. And, love is something, unconditional. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I got love for my brother. I got love for my sisters. You know what I'm saying? I love you, mom. I love you, dad. But when you fall into love with somebody, it's, it's a deeper level. It's something that's really just unexplainable. It's just like that little feeling that you get, like, in your heart, like when it be thumping and stuff like that. And feel like you get nervous and you just get that type of in love. When you fall in that type of love with, somebody, rather man or woman, you begin to accept things that you would probably normally never accept from somebody that you just love. You know what I mean? There's just certain things that you would, put up with. I remember when, I remember when, uh, I know my mother used to tell me, and my father used to tell me, you got to make sure that you set your standards high. You know what I'm saying, in a woman and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're right about that. You're right about that. You know, and it gets when you fall in love with somebody that you feel that meets your standards, you'll damn near do anything for them. And then you get into the whole thing to where sometimes somebody's just not exactly who they say that they are. So you ended up falling in love with the wrong person. You know what I mean? And once again, you get so deep into it that you start to accept things that you normally wouldn't accept. Um, I know I was in an abusive relationship a couple of times, and honestly, just to keep people out of uh, keep people safe in a sense. I don't want to be naming any names or anything like that. Shout out to Monica Blake. I can't wait to hear from you, Monica. What I'm saying? I'm getting ready to take these calls here in a minute. Just want to kind of explain a few things, man, just from my view in a sense. And when I got into an abusive relationship, it was shout out to Brittany Hill. What's up, girl? Um, that shit scared me. I'm gonna keep it real. That shit scared me. You know what I'm saying? My mama raised me to respect women, uh, open doors. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Chivalry. Cook from time to time, get them a foot massage. The stuff. The stuff that mothers teach you. How to be a man to a woman. And I never thought, and I'll just keep it real. You can judge me if you want, but I never thought that I would ever be in a physical relationship uh, with a woman, just on both sides of the fence. And I'm not here to place blame on anything. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that we were both good people. You know what I'm saying? And I just think that we haven't completely healed ourselves. We didn't know who we were. We really didn't know what we liked or what we didn't like. Um, I know I was still learning. You know what I'm saying? And actually, I just got out of a relationship. Prior to that, so it was kind of like a rebound thing. But um, in this relationship, man, I found some things out about myself that was just like, damn, like I got a temper. I got a motherfucking temper. Um, I can be impatient, at times, and and I think a lot of that came from me not expressing myself a lot. I never really expressed my feelings. Like if something was bothering me for the moment, I would hold the shit in. You know what I'm saying? And boom, all of a sudden it comes into a big argument because you didn't explain it. In the beginning, I didn't really know how to control my anger. I always wondered, like, is it genetics? When I'm getting to something, it's hereditary. I don't get it, but it scared the hell out of me. You know what I'm saying? It scared the hell out of me to have been in a physical, um, well, abusive, type of relationship with a woman, and I feel hella bad. But um, at the same time, um, I'm kind of neutral about it because it's just, man, there's only so much you can take sometimes. You know what I mean? There's only so much that any individual can deal with, and until you have to, have some type of defense against that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that's listening. By the way, we getting deep in this mug. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait for y'all to call in soon. I'm ready to take calls here in a few minutes. 615-933-6757. Um, Once again, I end up asking myself like, damn. I was asking the question about why do people stay in those relationships, and here I was in a relationship that was abusive, verbally, mentally, physically, and I stayed in it. We stayed in it. I never asked myself that. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I'm kind of asking myself right now. I never understood that. You know, but now I do. Now I do. In my situation, it was a rebound situation, and we kind of needed each other. So we didn't really get much time to learn anything about each other. It was like a hustle and flow type thing. You know what I mean? We learned, each other along the way. But um, I began to love that person. I began to fall in love with that person, and she the same. And this while out of all this time, there's a struggle going on. You know what I'm saying? And there's still some things we need to learn about each other. We're just in love with the fact of being in love type shit. you know. But there were a lot of things that needed to be fixed within us. We didn't fix that. And so that was the first time I'd ever been in a physical relationship. I don't went to jail for it. She don't went to jail for it. You know what I'm saying? Of course, that's the past now. You know what I'm saying? But it's just uh, that was something that it was hard to get out of. You feel what I'm saying? I was in other relationships where we might have broke up 25 times. And we were so abusive to each other, so verbally abusive to each other, mentally, everything. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, I, it's so unexplainable to to try to figure out like why do we stay? Why do we stay? Well, I know why I stayed. I stayed because it was convenient. I stayed because I was content at where I was at in life. It was almost like I just kind of just gave up, and when you give up, you know, you feel like, oh shit, I'm not doing nothing in my life. Ain't nobody trying to fuck with me. Well, she's here with me, you know what I'm saying? She's going through my little fuck ups. I'm just, shit, I guess that's just what we're gonna do. Just gonna stay here. I just deal with the bullshit, and you just deal with it. You become numb. It almost becomes second nature, like a lifestyle, to where you don't even know what good is anymore. When a good man is in front of you and when a good woman is in front of you, it's like a mirage to you now because you're so fixated on that lifestyle. And it's not even like you want it. It's just that you're so used to it. You know what I mean? Um, Anybody that want to call in, you know what I'm saying? Please feel free to. I want to hear from you. Any of your situations. You don't have to say your name or anything like that. You can be anonymous if you want to, but I'm gonna tell you when you do call, you will be. It's kind of like a little screen call, so you either gonna have to say your name or you can say anonymous or anything like that. I want to hear, from my people out there. You know what I'm saying? I want to hear from the men. I want to hear from the women. You know, if you have been in an abusive relationship, um, I would consider cheating abuse too. You know what I'm saying? That's uh, I mean, let's not talk about cheating. That's a whole nother thing. Um, if you're not in an abusive relationship, if you're in a cheating relationship, what keeps you? You know what I'm saying? I've been in both sides of the fence. I was terrible, y'all. I was freaking terrible. I was terrible. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just glad that I'm taking that time to work on myself. But I was terrible. I was in relationships where I was cheating, and I was in relationships where the woman was cheating. And I'm gonna tell you, man, that should be hurting. But once again, it's like you get used to that particular lifestyle to where you've already excluded yourself from everybody else because you caught up in the rapture of love. You know what I'm saying? Like Anita Baker, it's you get caught up in it. You get used to it, and you feel like I felt like I was like, ain't nobody gonna want me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm straight. At that time, you know what I mean. Uh, my exes and stuff had these holds on me, you know what I mean? And, not every ex, but just in this abusive type thing, they had these kind of holds on me to where I just felt like, shit, I guess that's just, hey, all right, that's the way it's going to be. You know what I mean? This is the life that we going to live. Don't nobody else want me out here. You know what I mean? But when I was in a cheating relationship, um, I asked myself, shout out to Johnny, I asked myself, like, damn, why does she keep staying? There were times where I've been in a relationship where, or maybe not even in a relationship when it might have been building to one where I would try to break up with them on purpose just to tell them that I was cheating. And sometimes I probably even wasn't. I just wanted them to leave. You know what I mean? Because I never understood, like, what is it in me that you see? I've already done you dirty. Why are you staying? You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, probably now that I'm doing this, I don't love you like you love me. If I'm doing this to you, like, why are you staying? What's going on? And I remember one chick told me one time when I was in college, because I asked her, because there was this dude that was really just like doing her dirty. And she was like, there's something about me holding on to the first quarter of our um, meeting, like when we first met. You know what I'm saying? Like she was still holding on to that to like I saw something in him, you know what I mean? And that's not really him. He's just going through some things and all that. And I'm like, damn, you know, first impression is everything. And so it can turn out great and then it can turn out to a Tina Turner moment. You know what I mean? Because some people can probably put on that facade like this is the type of person I am, and then you find out later, but it's like now it's too late because you done fell too deep and you're holding on to those moments and you're hoping that it's going to get better. You know, um, I've been on the other side of the fence where, you know what I'm saying, the female was cheating on me, and I wouldn't leave. I didn't leave. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, I was like, damn, I didn't want anybody else. So what I'm saying, going to somebody else now is just kind of like worthless. I done invested in this particular thing, and now I know that you fucking off. You know what I'm saying? But like, I don't know. Shit. I mean, I got ran my ass the fuck over. I know that. But um being able to see the both sides of those fences, man, it was an eye opener. You know what I mean? And I guess I'm speaking, for me like today, like shit. Um I can honestly say that I've been on both sides of the fence where I was abusive, I was being abused, we were abusing together. I was cheating, she was cheating, we were cheating together, and I just feel like that sometimes before we step in these type of relationships, man, we're so quick to hurry up and get married and have kids and do all this stuff. And I know all of my peers out there probably saying, "Man, Royce, what you doing, man? Man, bruh, you ain't married yet. You ain't got no kids yet." No, I ain't got no kids yet, and it's probably for a reason. You feel me? Because I really feel like that before myself or anybody else that's pending a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to speak on anybody that's in relationships or that are married. That's none of my business. You know what I'm saying? I wish y'all peace and blessings. But anyone that's trying to get into a relationship, I advise you, and I'm talking to me too, that it's time for you to get to know who you are. You know what I'm saying? Um, because there's too much of that going on. What I'm seeing in relationships. You know what I'm saying? With friends and family and people that I don't even know, people that I see on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and I hear their cries, I hear what's going on, and I'm like, man, maybe this is a message to myself and everybody else to be like, yo, you have to learn how to work with yourself. Royce, you got to learn how to work with yourself. I have to understand that I have a fucking temper. I can get impatient at times. I can be inconsiderate. I can be selfish. I can be irresponsible at times. I can be lazy. This is in relationships, like the consistency and all that stuff like that. Like, I'm really trying to work on myself mentally on not being in a rage for something that you don't may not understand about somebody else, or not be so, what's the word, narcissistic. You know what I'm saying? That's a pretty big word, but I'm willing to accept that. You know, I'm trying to learn how to humble myself because I don't want to put myself in another situation to where I'm hurting myself or I'm hurting somebody else. I don't want that. I don't want that anymore. And for the people out there that's out there single or pursuing, you shouldn't want that for yourself either. You know what I mean? And I know there's a lot of stories about, men, abusing women and stuff like that. And there's some women out there that be abusing men too. You know what I'm saying? Shit. You know what I mean? You looking at one right now. You feel me? Not at this moment, but I done been on both sides of the fence, like I said. You feel me? And I just, without spreading any negative energy like on that, no nana boo boo to them or nothing. Just anybody that's in that situation right now, I'm not telling y'all to leave because that would be judging. I'm not trying to judge anybody. Like I said, I done been through all of this stuff. I'm not telling you to leave. I'm just saying you need to work on yourself. And whatever manifests out of that, it will manifest. Because it's really not worth getting into these relationships and not knowing the history of that person or really truly knowing who that person is. If we're talking about seriously dating, because people are dying from this shit. You know what I'm saying? Bobby Christina Brown. You know what I'm saying? And her boyfriend that recently passed from like a drug overdose, like stuff like that, man. You know what I'm saying? You hear stories about it. You hear stories about this abuse. You know, and it's just not cool. It's not safe, man. People should really learn to work on themselves, man. If you got a temper problem, tell yourself you got a fucking temper problem. Work on that motherfucking temper problem. You feel me? If you got a fucking drug addiction in relationships and y'all on drugs together, you know what I'm saying? Y'all need to work together on stopping that shit, man. This is the stuff that leads to like abuse and death and crimes of passion and shit like that, man. I can't lie, man. I've been a dog. I've done it all. Real talk. I guess these are my confessions, but hopefully that I'm reaching out to somebody. You know what I'm saying, and knowing that it's not worth it, and I think that you should stop it before you get too far, too far. And if you're being abused right now, rather man or woman, like I said, I'm not telling you to leave. I'm just saying to work on yourself. When you work on yourself, all those answers will tell you what to do. You know what I'm saying? Past relationships I've been in where I've been in all of that and I had to leave, what I did was work on myself. And as I continued to work on myself, I came up with the answer on what I needed to do. It was undeniable. Because when I stayed in a relationship that was cheating and that was abusive on both sides of the scale, I was, I never tried to work on myself. I just said, I'm in something right now. I'm working on this. You feel what I'm saying? So every time this happened, this abuse happened, this cheating happened, and me not working on myself, finding out who I am to be a better person, I'm disregarding leaving because I don't know nothing about me. You feel what I'm saying? Nothing about me. And yes, and Monica Blake says mutual I can't even see that. Oh, there you go. Toxicity, is my opinion a bit different than abusive relationships. When I think of abuse, relationships, I mostly think of a perceived power imbalance. Okay. I like that. Okay. No, don't leave that up there because I want to kind of look at that for a minute and see. Let's see. I mostly think of perceived power imbalance. That's kind of true though. That's kind of true. You feel me? Because man, check this out, Monica. Um, when I was in my first like abusive relationship, like there was definitely a power imbalance because we were there. She might as well have been like an alpha male too. You feel me? We had two alpha males in the apartment, and trying to give each other orders on what it wasn't really like orders, but there was a natural type of dominance thing taking over because this particular individual was pretty stout, and she knew how to MMA and do all that shit. So it's just like when we got to that point to where we were arguing and we were getting to that physical part, it was like it was even hard to see her. I'm just keeping it real. It was even hard to see her as a woman fighting me. I'm just keeping it real. That was like a more than a woman. Real talk. I ain't trying to be a joke about it, but that blew my motherfucking mind. You know what I'm saying? And it messed with my ego. So therefore, like my temper's flaring and stuff like this, because I'm like, I'm seeing something totally out the ordinary that's not supposed to happen. You know what I mean? Like this was really awkward. Really awkward. Like I said, I never been through that before. You know what I'm saying? Never at all. Like there were times where I was going Monica, if you want to call in, you know what I'm saying? We can speak more on this, man. The numbers on the phone and stuff. Anybody want to call in, like I'm waiting. But being in that particular, situation with me for the first time, like I said, like I really had no history of it. Well, I take that back. You know what I'm saying? And that's just like I said, I don't want to say any names and anything like that, but I've grew up in situations like that, and that's just to keep it real. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that was an excuse for what I did, or even an excuse for that person for what they did, but um, I think it really does take a part in it because it was like night and day. I'm just telling you how it comes from a man's perspective. If any man out there has been in an abusive relationship where you have been abusive, you know what I'm saying? Um, I'm only speaking on what goes on, in my mind when I first experienced that. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, in my mind, it just felt like what Monica was saying. It was a power imbalance, and it was naturally, and you know, when that happens, it's kind of like it's like a spontaneous combustion or something, or what they call that, some type of chemistry effect. But um, oh, hold on just for a minute. I think we have a call, people. Let's see who that might be.
Call from Monica. To accept, press 1. Okay. I've sent the caller to voicemail. Goodbye.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why it does that, but that's just how we do. We'll be okay. Maybe I should press one quicker. Because I'm waiting for it to get done. You know how that goes.
Hello.
Well, hello. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. No, I'm sorry I accidentally hung up on you. I think I didn't press like one quick enough. You know what I'm saying? I'm still trying to get used to this thing, but I'm hearing you
No,
loud and
it's okay.
clear. How are you
It's
doing? First of all, man.
I, I am good. I cannot complain. I will not complain. But I do want to chime in because I heard you say that you would not suggest someone leave in this situation, and with my experience, both personal and professional,
Hmm.
I will beg to differ.
All right, holler at me.
I absolutely believe that if you're in any type of abusive relationship, particularly if it is physically abusive, I do encourage you to leave because, particularly in the African American community, it is so much more fatal for us than
Hmm.
it is for other demographics.
Mm.
Also, I want to add that if there is a gun in the home when these events are taking place, that the amount of statistics that go up for African American women is like astronomical. We're like 70% more likely to be killed by intimate partner abuse.
Mm.
So, yes, I've posted the number to the hotline there. If you need help leaving or getting out of that type of situation, I absolutely do not encourage anyone to stay in an abusive relationship. Um, but back to what you were saying about why people stay, a lot of times it really is about a power imbalance. People are afraid, and you're right. Both men and women can both be abusive. There's a social stigma. Nobody really wants to be the one to have to come out and say,
Hmm.
"I've been getting my ass whooped." You
Right.
know, that's a hard thing to say out loud to other people. Um, and then, again, I'll speak from personal experience.
Yeah.
A lot of people that know me often say I'm one of the strongest women they know.
Yeah.
So for me to have to come and follow that with, well, I have been in this situation. He tried to kill me.
Yeah.
It nearly took me out. That's a lot to have to say to someone. And then you also risk what their perception of you can become. Does that make sense?
No, that makes perfect sense. And actually to go back, like I guess what I was trying to say is, and I guess I meant that in a non-judgmental way, because no, if somebody asked me, well, what should I do? Yeah, I would tell them to leave. I was just saying, as far as like um it's I I feel like that in situations that I've been in, um I had to break away and understand or learn myself in a sense. And I was a lost individual, to be honest with you. I
Right.
had crazy insecurities. I didn't really like who I was. Um, I smoked like a motherfucking chimney. My life had did a complete 180, and I disappointed a lot of people. And
Right.
so the moment that I kind of stepped outside of myself and looked at myself and said, okay, nothing else is working on why. I tell myself to leave all the time. I tell myself to leave. I just, something's keeping me, something's holding me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is. And once I started to analyze that on why, like, okay, shoot yourself in the gut, Royce. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the reason why you're here? Be honest with yourself. What's really going on? What's holding you back? Why is it that you can't let go? You know what I'm saying? And for me, it was I was truly in love with this person, and I was afraid to I was afraid of being alone. And I hate starting over. You feel what I'm saying?
Oh, that
Um,
makes perfect sense.
but like I said, yeah, I would tell somebody to leave, but I guess I meant that and like it's not as easy as some people say it is. You know what I mean? For some people, it probably was easy because I would only say that because they were fully liberated. They knew what they want in life. Because all it takes sometimes for some people, oh shit, one hit, oh you hit me, oh motherfucker, I'm gone. Because I know me, I know what I will and won't, accept in my life. You know what I'm saying? I know my standards, and this is not part of my standards, so I'm gone. But then you got some people who don't think highly of themselves sometimes. They may be depressed, like I was, so it was harder for them to leave.
Right.
So
And
telling
then you,
somebody like that to leave, no, that's fine. But telling somebody like that to leave, I just don't feel like it's helping them. I really feel like there's something deeper, and it's not even the person that's hitting or abusing them or cheating on them. It's a lot deeper than them. It's something that's going on within with that individual. You feel me?
well, and I do agree with that in a lot of ways. As far as I do think that it's not wise to tell someone to leave, but then not empower them with the support that they need to leave,
Right.
and also give them the information that's going to help them uh, achieve that goal.
Correct.
For a lot of people, I know as well. For those that don't know, I was a police officer for 15 years, and I would often encounter people who would be in these abusive relationships, and at the time they would say that they wanted for things to be different,
Mm-hmm.
and then their abuser would get arrested, and then they wouldn't show up for court.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think, well, did they really want to be safe from this situation if they're not going to come and speak up for themselves?
Yeah.
But then I learned that, at that time I thought, well, if anybody ever puts their hands on me, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I know my worth. I wish somebody would try to put their hands on me.
Right.
And I knew exactly what I was going to do when it happened. And when it happened, everything that I thought I knew went out the door, because you do go into a fight or flight, because you do um, think about all the different social stigmas, because a lot of women do find a way to take the abuse that they are receiving and internalize it some way to mean that they have done something wrong, even though they know good and well they haven't done anything wrong. And men do that too. A lot of men who find themselves as victims of abuse, they start to think, well, what am I not doing to keep her satisfied? What
Right.
am I doing that makes her want to do this? So it's kind of a double-edged sword there. But yes, I totally understand what you mean. But just as far as no, if you're going to tell someone that they need to leave, or if you're going to give that advice, you definitely want to make sure that you help to provide the support that they're going to need, because it is hard, leaving in any situation. And it doesn't have to necessarily mean that people are living together or
Right.
cohabitating, or that they're married. I mean, you could be in separate quarters and still have a hard time abandoning a relationship.
Right.
I know that one of my closest friends um, found herself in a relationship with a narcissistic man.
Mm.
And one of the reasons that she could not leave is because she is so incredibly loyal that, it was just in her blood to stay. And so she felt like if she were to leave, then she would not only be abandoning him, which would have been like the worst thing for her to do, to think of herself, abandoning something she committed to, but also it would be a violation of the code that she had to herself.
Oh man.
So I absolutely agree that there are a lot of factors at play when people decide, or when people are trying to make the decision whether to stay or go. But if it is, if it's gotten to the point where it's life threatening, or if you feel fear for your life, I absolutely do encourage people to seek help however they can, um, because it's not worth losing your life.
Man, you right. And I'm gonna scroll down to it's at the bottom. Can you highlight that right there, bro? I'm trying to that number there, the hotline that you put down there at the bottom of the screen. We're gonna big that up real quick. Uh and man, I definitely appreciate you for calling. But of course, we're going to extend into other conversations because we're definitely going to have you later on, what I'm saying, at the beginning of this year. And the hotline number that she put there is 800-799-7233. That's 800-799-7233. And Miss Blake, we really appreciate you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Man.
And also, I want to let you know how awesome it is that you are sharing your story, and that you're being transparent about being on both sides. That's something
Yeah.
that a lot of men don't have the courage to say. So, thank you for bringing these issues to everyone's awareness, and thank you for your transparency.
Hey, no, I appreciate it, man. We'll be talking soon.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right,
Bye.
that's what's up. Bye. All right, everybody. That was Miss Monica Blake. Shout out to her, man. And yeah, we go way, way back. I know she's always wanted to be, in law enforcement, man, ever since she was in middle school. I remember, we really appreciate your input, you know what I'm saying? And actually, we're about to make another phone call because I missed the call. So I'm very sorry about that. And we're about to find out who that is real quick because it's going to tell me. Well, no, I'm going to be calling you. So let's just see. Who was it? Oh, we'll find out. It's cool. It's like a mystery. Okay, they'll call back. I don't want to catch the answer machine. It might be some. But in the meantime, shout out to the people that are watching. Feel free to call in 615-933-6757. Man, we're getting deep up in here. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Belladonna? Belladonna, you need to come on and call in. Shout out to Belladonna. I was checking out, what she had up there live, you know what I'm saying? And it's just time for all of us to be truthful, you know what I'm saying, about things. The only way to heal is to be honest with yourself first, man. Real talk. Like, that is so real, you know what I mean? If you can learn to stop lying to yourself, stop telling yourself this, start telling yourself that, stop doing this, stop doing that, you know what I mean? And try to really just work on being the good person that you are, you know what I'm saying? Everything else will manifest. Shout out to Jamie Moorhead. Hey, you make sure you call in too. You know what I'm saying? I definitely want to hear from you. You know what I'm saying? The number is 615-933-6757. Like I said, you don't have to say who you are, whoever calls, or you can just say anonymous or whatnot. And the fact that we only have one line, I do appreciate y'all calling, you know what I'm saying? So, we'll try to, move as swiftly as possible, make sure you guys get your shout out to Vince Bailey. What's going on, my man? What's going on, man? Man, call in 615-933-6757, my man. We are going live here. And we're talking about good people in toxic relationships. And I said I was just sharing my story, man, about me being on both sides of the fence with abusive relationships and cheating relationships, something that I really, really feel bad for. But at the same time, I know that's a part of growth. I know that's a part of healing, and that's the main reason why I'm exposing myself like this. You know what I'm saying? Because it is what it is. I'm trying to be a better person, and I want to be a better person for anybody that that comes into my life, and I hope the people that are in situations like that I'm in that just may not want to speak about it, or maybe afraid to speak about it. You know what I'm saying? I'll speak for you, like, and it's okay. It's not okay, but it's okay. You know what I'm saying? To be honest about what you've done, wrong in your life when it comes to relationships, because that's, to me, that's the only way that you're going to receive exactly what you want in the future when it comes to being with somebody, and for it not to be abusive and for it not to have infidelity. You truly have to work with yourself. You truly do. And that's what I'm doing, you know what I'm saying, right now. Truly working on myself. And we got a call coming in, and let's see who this is.
From. To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Hello? Can you hear me? I don't think they.
Hello.
Oh, there we go.
Is this Josh?
No, no, no. This is Royce, my man.
Oh, oh shoot! I gotta turn you down. See all
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
technology.
Yeah, I was hearing that feedback back there, man. How's it,
Okay, it's all good now. How you doing,
man?
man?
How you doing, man? I'm doing fine, man. Happy New Year to you, brother.
God bless, man. Happy New Year to you as well, man. Happy New Year. Good people in toxic relationships, huh?
Yeah, man. I kind of want to get the people's input on, if anybody's been in a situation like that, or really for people that have looked at it from the outside in a sense and had their views on it. But um, yeah. So I mean, how do you feel, about that particular situation? Have you been in that situation before? Have you had friends who've been in that situation that seem to get locked in?
Well, Royce, you know me, man. You've known me for a long time. This
Yeah.
is year 32 of my marriage.
Hmm.
32 years, and it's amazing for me to even say that myself. But what you got to realize is, I mean, once you and someone come together, you're a team,
Yeah.
and everything else is like secondary. I mean, everything looks like okay, that's better. It's like this or it's like that. I'm gonna get this new gig, or I'm gonna do that, the other. But it really comes down to, because it's the long game. It ain't the trying to get the first down. You trying to win the whole thing. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying?
Yes.
you know, and you know, so Royce, I'm so proud of you, man. What you're doing. I know that you are pushing, to do your thing. I also produce a podcast on mental health, and this past week, we produced it on, relationships and renewing love relationships.
Yeah.
You realize, according to those statistics, that in the black community is a 70% divorce rate.
Mm. Oh man.
70,
Yeah. Oh
not
wow.
50. 70 is what those numbers said. Now, you know, fake news, I don't know, but
Yeah.
70, come on.
That's ridiculous.
It's real.
Yeah, it is
Oh,
real.
yeah. I
It is.
mean, because, hey, look, everybody that's listening to Royce's great show here tonight, I mean, think about it. You was a kid. You didn't want to see mom and daddy split up.
Yeah, not at all.
You ain't had no idea what was going on with them and all that kind of stuff. All you know is you want some Christmas presents and you wanted mom and daddy to
Yeah.
be at your recital at school.
Right. That's
You know,
true.
when we keep it real, you
Yeah,
know what
that's
I'm saying?
true.
So when you talk about, these relationships that you're dealing with, I mean, this stuff is real. And for the fellas, I got to tell you, once you pick your woman, that's your partner. And whether she want to drive your car or spend your money, once you decide that's your partner, hey, that's what it is, man. And it's you
Yeah.
and her and you against the world.
Right.
And when you really come together, man, you can accomplish a lot. Whether it's things that everybody else can see, or it's just the things that you wanted to do with your life. I mean,
Right.
everything ain't about being a Kardashian.
Right. No, that's true. That's true, man. So let me ask you this: do you think? I mean, it's probably just. I mean, we could see it as like common knowledge or whatever, but I mean, do you feel that you have to work on yourself individually before you can get something like that you're speaking of right now? Because a lot of people.
Well, and you know what? No, because even then, so again, Royce, you know me. I mean, we go way back.
Yeah.
So I was doing this podcast, and I started looking at statistics and all this information, and it was saying, sisters, I'm sorry, but it was saying sisters got all these requirements. They was like, he got to be financially stable, he got to do this, he got to do that, he got to do that.
Yeah.
Do you know the other culture? I'm gonna just say, hey, white girls wasn't saying the same thing.
Yeah.
They was like, hey, he can be on fries, because he may be a manager one day.
Right.
But Sisters was like, he got to be a manager with a Beamer and a crib, and you know, when you a young man, you still trying to do your thing. You know, you need somebody to push you too. You know, that kind of thing. So it was very enlightening to me to read how the statistics have been broken down. 70%, Royce. 70.
Yeah. Then that's I can't even. Yeah, that's a hard pill to swallow right there, my man. That's a hard pill to swallow.
It really is, man. It really is, and it's the reality. But also the reality. I'm looking at you on my phone as I talk to you on my telephone at the crib, and man, I mean, we have got to spread this. We got to spread some hope to these folks, man, because I mean, and even with 32 years, I mean, it's you know, you work at it. I mean, but think about when you go to places, how many old black couples do you see?
Yeah, it's slimming.
It's slimming.
Mm-hmm.
You see grandma and grandpa, if you're lucky, but then when you look at again the other culture. Oh, they just chilling. They're like, oh boy, we just come down here every year and have a great time.
Yeah,
you're like, what?
that's so true. And Mr. Bailey, man, it's definitely been a pleasure, man. And just to reiterate, the people that are listening of what he was tying to, that it's something definitely that you work at. Y'all just heard 32 years, and if you scroll down at the comments, actually what Monica Blake had put, it was that number for anybody that's in this particular situation. The number I believe is 800-799-7233. That's 800-799-7233. And Mr. Bailey, we're gonna get off here to another call, man. But we're definitely gonna talk. And my brother, man, we love you and Happy New Year to you.
Hey, God bless you, man. Keep up the good work, man. 800-799. I'm gonna call that number myself. All right, good. God bless, man.
Yes, sir. You too.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
All right, so that was Mr. Vince Bailey. That is a longtime mentor of mine, and my producer just told me to tell y'all we're gonna call y'all right back. And I know I just missed the call, man. We're kind of working with one line, but one day when we get big and stuff and get the support, man, we're gonna get 1,000 lines. So I'm gonna call this number back. So we're all just gonna figure out who this is. Hopefully, this individual will answer. So we're gonna call right now. Playing phone tag. This is fun.
Hello?
Hello, how you doing? Thanks for calling in to Royce's Rant. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Sade.
Well, hey, Sade. Oh, wait a minute. So I did say your name right the last time.
You did.
I did.
Usually I'm used to hearing Spady, Sod, Sad with a silent E, but yes, no. You got it right.
Okay. That's what's up. Well, how you doing this evening?
I'm wonderful. You caught me at a bad time. I tried calling in earlier, but you didn't pick up the phone. It's cool, and I saw you kind of shade my voicemail. You threw a little shade in there, but it's good.
I was like, I'm not gonna leave no voicemail, man. That would be kind of rude. But yeah. So I don't know how long you've been chiming in or anything like that, but just what we're talking on is good people that's been in toxic relationships, and whether you've been in one or somebody that's been in one. Like, why do you feel through your experience of what you've seen, why do you feel that people stay in toxic relationships?
Well, I'm gonna be brief.
Okay.
But I feel like society normalizes unhealthy relationships. they make it seem like it's okay to be in these toxic relationships, and it's hard, and because of that, it's hard for people to identify when they're in an abusive relationship. People look at these ride and die situations and feel like, oh, I have to be loyal to this person, and just it destroys them. It destroys their self-esteem, and it's hard for them to identify with themselves.
Yeah.
I've never been in this situation, so I can't really speak personally on myself, but I do realize it seems like something that society, perpetuates a ride or die mindset, meaning that you have to be in an abusive relationship, you have to stay with your partner, forgive and forget.
Yeah.
Just don't leave them. Baby, come here.
I'm
sorry.
No, you good. This is real life, man. This ain't, you know what I mean? We're not, ain't nobody editing this stuff out. This is real, man. So, no, I get what you're saying, because that some of that was part of my argument too. And before, like, we do have to take effect into like the entertainment business, the media, just what we're influenced by in a sense. Now, I know they say that art imitates life, and then at the same time, there are subliminals, in some of those things, that they throw up, and it does kind of, shape things. And let's look at it from this way: if you don't even want to see it through, what we see in the media or movies, let's just talk about real life and what people went through when they were younger. Like I grew up seeing those things. You know what I'm saying? As I got into the adolescent age, the young teenage age, and not to say that was okay for what I've been through, you know what I'm saying, or what the other has been through, but that also kind of plays a part in a sense, like unconsciously though. We don't even know half the time. And I think we have to look deeper into that. I don't see nothing wrong with, they call them shrinks or whatever. I don't see nothing wrong with that. I don't see nothing wrong with seeing a psychiatrist, anybody that can help you, figure out what the hell is going on in your mind before you step into something that you may not be ready for. Because some of those type of things can trigger you. You just never know. Like I said, I never knew I had that particular thing in me at that time. I never knew. You know what I'm saying? Because I never bothered to tap into who I was. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that shit was hard. It was hard for me to get out because I was just, I was in a sunken place. Real talk.
So were you getting abused or were you the abuser?
Both.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, both. Real talk.
So, I mean, how did that make you feel being the abuser? Did you feel guilty after that?
Hell yeah, I felt guilty.
What made you do it?
I felt guilty to the mug, and I didn't feel like I turned to like, I'm gonna fuck around and do it again if you don't eat the cake right. Like, it wasn't none of that shit. It was, like I said, it was almost like, you remember Men in Black where they flash that light and then all of a sudden you forget about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. It scared the hell out of me because the first time that I did, I had made a motherfucking noise I ain't never made in my life. I screamed to the top of my lungs. It was like my last defensive mechanism to be like, get the fuck away from me. Like, I've never heard my vocal cords reach to that part. Did that
person triggered you, or like, I'm trying to get a good feel here. What happened?
Well, yeah, you can say it was a trigger, but I think that I should have handled it differently.
It just walked away. Was it hard for you just to walk away?
Yeah, it was hard for me to walk away because that shit hurt. It hurt. I ain't gonna lie, that shit hurt, and it was reflexes. And when I realized it was a reflex, it turned into a defense. After I snapped, like, oh, I just did that. Okay, well, she just reacted. Well, it's a rumble in the jungle. Somebody got to go down.
Oh my goodness.
I went to jail for it. Came back to the same broken relationship. Happened again. She ended up going to jail for it. And I remember the police officer told me. He said, Mr. Massengill, he said, look, he said, she's going to jail this time. He said, y'all even. He looked me dead in my eye and he was like,
like this is a game or something. We even, my nigga.
Yeah, he said, y'all even, right? He was like, leave, and for a police officer to tell me that, like, them the kind of police officers I like. They're involved in their community because they done been over there like 5 times already. So I kind of trusted what he was saying in a sense, because he really brought more of the reality to me. Like, do you want to go to jail again, bro? Because, you know what I'm saying, I changed clothes and everything. I slept on the 4th floor. Davidson County. Hello.
Oh my God. Bless your heart. Bless your heart.
The breakfast was terrible. The fuck was that? No, but you know,
oh Lord, you had to share bathrooms with other people.
Oh, wide open, wide open.
Bless your heart, cheeks exposed.
Yeah, but shout out to Johnny Levitt for bailing me out. You know what I'm saying? You know, shout out to him, man. But just getting back on a serious tip, like I blew my top off. You know what I'm saying? And just to keep it real, that was my first time. And then the second and the final time that it happened was in another relationship. And we were both like, honestly, it was one of them things to where I was like, okay, I hung that coat up because that was ridiculous. That wasn't even me. You know, my mom was. I felt like my mom was hating me. I felt like my sister didn't want to talk to me no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were really devastated that I would have done something like that, no matter what was done to me. You know what I'm saying? So when I was in this other relationship, it got crazy. It got to the point to where I think, weapons, knives were pulled out. And I'm going to tell you this. I think that was a message from God saying, like, okay, if you get in something else like this again, somebody gonna die, because it seemed like it was levels, you know. And I had to get a reality check and be like, all right, stop. Let's stop playing the blame game. Let's blame yourself for a minute, because it takes 2 to tango. So instead of pointing fingers, let's work the fuck on you, Royce. Let's figure out what the fuck is pissing you off. Why are you getting into these relationships that cause you to do that? Why are you jumping into this shit? Why are you going from one woman to the next? You feel what I'm saying? Let's learn something. So at this point, that's what I'm doing now, what I've been doing for the last almost 2 years. Like,
well, congratulations to you.
No, I appreciate it. It's all good. You know what I mean? And I have to continuously remind myself of what I've done, and then what has been done to me, to keep me humble and keep me evolving into the person I know I am. Because I'm not.
Are you afraid, Royce, that you're gonna go back, like something may trigger you in your new relationship?
No, not at all. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm glad you asked that, because before I close on this, I'm so glad you asked that, because what I'm doing now within my life is finding. All my life, I've been trying to find the right person for me, or find the right people for me, or as far as friends and family and relationships, right? So I'm taking this time to work on myself, to be able to say, no, I don't want this. Yes, I do want this. Okay, this meets my requirements. Are you feeling happy today? Are you in the mood for a relationship? Is this something that you are ready for? Are you ready for children, Royce? Are you ready for all of that? You know, and when I can say yes to all of those things that I want, that's going to make me happy. And I'm saying nothing's going to be perfect. You feel what I'm saying? But I also know what triggered me at that time. You know what I'm saying? And I know the reason for that. And I had to take 50% of that blame too. It's really a humbling process, because, like I said, I was never an offender. It just turned into, it just had to be what it had to be. I'm just keeping it real with you. And I didn't like it for shit. Still don't like it. I think about it damn near every other week, sometimes more, sometimes, you know what I mean? But it's just a heavy reminder of, like, you remember how you were raised, you remember how your mother raised you, remember how your father raised you, you know what I'm saying? You were raised up in multiple churches with loving people. Go back to your roots. You know what's up. And so, therefore, so I'm not going to pick, or not even going to pick. I'm through picking. It's going to come to me once I'm clear with myself on what I want and what's going to make me happy. You feel what I'm saying? I think that'll exit a lot of things for people that's trying to be in relationships or anything like that. Working your goddamn self. It's okay. It's okay to say no. I don't want this. You don't have to settle.
That's all right. Yeah.
Yes. But listen, I really appreciate you calling, Sade. Real talk.
Don't be a stranger either, Royce.
What?
Okay?
What you mean?
You make sure you hit me up. Don't be a stranger.
I got you. I will hit you up. I do appreciate you support. Real talk.
Well, thank you for taking my call.
All right. Well, thank you for calling.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. That was Sade West. What it do? I sure do appreciate you calling in and stuff. I appreciate your comments and opinions on things, and I appreciate you for listening. I appreciate everybody for listening, and definitely you guys keep your eyes on Monica Blake. She was our first caller, and she left a number for any woman that may be listening, any man that may be listening that has been abused, is being abused. There are people that you can talk to. There's the number. It is 1-800-799-7233. And it's been a good show. You know what I'm saying? And I hope you guys have learned some things from the callers, maybe from me. I really appreciate it. And I just wanted to be real with y'all, about what I've been through and what I'm dealing with, and what I'm trying to be better at. And I just encourage anybody, man or female, you know what I'm saying? I wish y'all peace and blessings in your relationships. I hope that it never gets to the point to where you feel like you have to be abusive. I hope it never gets to the point to where you feel like you have to cheat on that person, because I feel like as you get older, those days should be over. Real talk. Work on yourself. You feel what I'm saying? Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm Royce Massengill, and this is Royce's Rant.
Royce's Rant.